Can the Secretary of State assure colleges that the review will take fully into account the important work that colleges undertake for international students?
Believe me, that contribution, that role, that service is fully recognised, and that's why this is a review and not a decision. It's a review because when this came up to me, I looked at it, studied very closely what was being proposed, and agreed, obviously, to a commitment to carry out a review which perfectly reasonably will look at where we are providing educational offers to international students in a way or at a level for students who frankly know too little English in order to do anything other than float in and through the educational system en route for what their real destination is, which is Britain's labour market. Now, I do not want, and the government does not want, and the Prime Minister does not want, to exclude international students from studying in Britain. We do not want to close down those offers, those opportunities from which we benefit both immediately and in the more longer term in a whole variety of different ways. But if there are people who are cheating the system, taking advantage of what we're doing in a way that enables them to duck under the wire of our points-based immigration system, then it's only right that we look at that too and form a judgment. But believe me, what we're talking about are low levels of English-speaking students coming, seeking lower level educational offers here, not in order, frankly, to be educated, but in order to stay. And we have to take cognizance of that.
I'll take two questions on the floor and then the VAT question. I'm afraid that will be all we have time for. Microphone one, please.
Frank Hoffman of the Institute of Education in London. Lord Mandelson, you asked me to speak for examples of where the government gets in the way of this sector. Can I give you one obvious one, which is a new framework for inspection by Ofsted? The framework, in explaining it to the sector, the handbook runs to 74 pages. The number of questions that Ofsted will ask of every college from now on, I've counted them, it runs to 232 questions. So it seems only fair that I should ask you one in return. What happened to intelligent accountability that we were promised by this government some years ago? What happened to the light touch?
Look, I'm not in charge of Ofsted, I'm not responsible for Ofsted, but nor am I going to duck your question. You know, quite honestly, if 74 pages and over, how many? 232? 232 questions will take from here till Kingdom Come, you know, to plough through.
Can we put you on that?
It's a public meeting.
No, I'm speaking obviously entirely off the record. I mean, I was pretty terrified when I walked in, you know, and saw Kirsty here. I thought I'd sort of jumped ahead in the day, and I was suddenly on the Newsnight studio. I was going to be grilled in that inimitably aggressive,
unfair,
punishingly unreasonable way for which Kirsty is rightly famous. Now, having said that, I will get my officials to look at the 74 pages and the 234 questions, and we will ask the question, is this absolutely necessary? Please justify yourself. That's the best I can do.
Just one more from the floor and then the VAT question. Yes. Sorry, yes. Microphone two, please.
Thank you. Lord Mandelson.
You have to wave it.
Yes,
yes.
You've done that, yeah.
I listened very carefully to what you said.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Sorry, yes. It's Ray Faulkner again, Chair of South Staffordshire College. We, distance travelled, benchmarks, maximum return, and as our previous question so where government gets in the way. Can I ask you, were you aware of the difference in funding in terms of higher education and further education, the 24 times difference, and the disparity of students that go through? But unfortunately, even if you were, the Department for Business, Innovation and Skills manages the college sector. The great majority of funding comes from DCSF. How is that sustainable, and how can you actually engineer this 24 times difference between AG and FE if you're not responsible for the funding?
Right.
That's the crux of the question.
Right. Well, let's
Government
take
is
the
getting
crux.
in the way.
Let's take the crux.
Well, I don't accept the logic of what you're saying. Just because there are different funding channels or policies which emanate from different departments doesn't mean to say that we're getting in your way. But it will undermine or make harder what you're trying to achieve if what's emanating from those different departments is different in emphasis or objective. If we're not joining up our decisions and our thinking between those departments so that we're operating as one government rather than two silos. So I accept fully that if we are going to do those things that I described, like prioritise, get value for money, benchmark, then there has to be a number of consistent channels, benchmarks, rather than competing ones that perhaps tug in different directions.
I'm sorry, we're really overrunning, so let Gordon Mandelson finish.
I'm going to take a question on VAT, I'm not sure whatever that is. But look, although I've got a rough idea.
But it's come up 2 or 3 times, so I think I should ask it.
I know, but I know you know the answer you're going to get anyway. But we'll do it anyway. Look, because I'm not the Chancellor of the Exchequer. I'm sorry.
I thought that was another job you're after.
Actually, don't you think it'd be simpler if we just integrated the Treasury into the Department of Business, Innovation and Skills?
I think the only reason
Alice darling, wherever you are, that was a joke.
I know you've got to go, but I'm going to give you this question in the end, the detail of it, because I'm not quite sure how to sum it. But
it's too long to read.
It is. But basically, colleges and universities believe that, unlike local councils and maintain schools, they can't reclaim it. It puts them at a disadvantage. One of the many things that happens means that there are brand new buildings lying across England, empty in the evenings and weekend, because college principals and governors don't want to face multi-million-pound bills in the Inland Revenue and Customs, because they're not allowed to open them for fee-paying activities for 10 years. And basically, if the government treated colleges like schools in this area of like a refund of VAT, it would allow college leaders to make better decisions, not just ones that minimise VAT. Alternatively, government could lift VAT threat on new college buildings and reasonably ask in return that colleges open their doors for adult education and community groups.
I think that's a perfectly strong point of view, perfectly strong logical case.
Lord Mandelson, thank you very much indeed. Lord Mandelson, do something else to say.
But hold on a moment. A logical case doesn't mean to say it's going to happen. I make many logical cases every day of my life in government, and I don't always get instantaneous agreement from my colleagues, including those in the Treasury. But let's see where we get with this.
Thank you very much, Lord Mandelson.